Hi, all. This is Kurt. Today, I wanted to cover basically the web of certifications that are out there within cybersecurity. Um, the reason I wanted to address this was because we've had a couple of on a couple of the forums, both on LinkedIn, and then also I've seen it on Facebook come up several times. And it's basically people getting started in cybersecurity. They've started an initial training course, either by themselves or they've enrolled in something, and they want to go the path. And it's very difficult and daunting when you look at the landscape of certifications that are out there. So when I first got into, I guess what you would call, at the time, it was basically IT audit. And I got into pen testing from that. That was kind of where I started my journey into cybersecurity, and even peppered, along my career path with jobs in risk and control, and then also even working with internal audit, doing information systems audit with internal audit, working with risk management, and all the way up to the CISO level, where a lot of my job was both a little bit of cyber and a little bit or quite a bit of risk management and a little bit of cyber on the response side, versus what I do now later in my career. For the last 5 years, I've been doing a lot of like SOC architecture, penetration testing, and then a lot of training around threat hunting and systems analysis, or basically alert analysis, alert tuning, that kind of thing. But let's talk about certifications. So one of the things about unraveling the certifications is that you kind of have to unravel what the career path is. And I'll just dive into that a little bit. And I'm kind of outlining my career path, but also what I see, like looking out, what there is in that whole realm. And there are a lot of things that people are calling cybersecurity that are actually GRC, which is governance, risk, and compliance, or more along the risk management side, second line side. And then there are other people that I've seen people that I know flat out have been an IT auditor all their life, but they say that they are, cybersecurity professionals because they include that. So what I'm depicting here is like a lot of people in their conversations will say that like this whole thing is cybersecurity, and it's not. You can argue that it's information security, but it is information security overall, and and a part of it's very much information system security as well. But let me just start out. So, at the very high level, like in the area where you work with what we would call like assurance products, the top here, when there's internal audits or there's even external audits of financial systems, that's like an assurance where the CPA auditor, financial auditor, is lending some kind of assurance as to the accuracy of the financial statements. And when you're an IT auditor in that area, you're actually just doing inputs a lot. Well, not just that. You're looking at physical and some other areas too, but a lot of your job is looking at inputs and outputs, and checking that the numbers are correct that come out of the system, and then also the system controls, the input controls, and that kind of thing. So it's a little more along the auditor line. There's not, and I put an arrow down the middle, I say technical skills requirement. It's not that that's any less technical in that area. I've seen really good IT auditors that don't have, command line hacking skills, but they can ask the right questions and zero in on issues that may be a control issue that actually comes over here for the risk and compliance guys to look at and evaluate and decide how they're going to, do a plan, do, check, and assure cycle along that, and to fix whatever the IT auditor finds. In that area, though, let's talk about certification. So, in that IT audit area, I started out with CISA, the Certified Information Systems Auditor. I got that back in like 2000. I still recommend it if you want to go that route. What it does, though, what doing IT audit does, though, is it really opens your eyes to a variety of industries, especially if you can get into a job like that in a big four, because then you'll get, a lot of times you'll get wide exposure, especially when you're younger in life. And that actually gives you kind of like the street smarts about the systems that are out there and what companies are using what systems and that kind of thing. And it's a really good path. It's the path I took as well. The technical skills, it's good to have IT knowledge, general IT knowledge, and then maybe an understanding of development or development life cycles. But what tends to happen from there is you go from IT audit and people move into what is risk management or governance, risk, and compliance, where you're familiar with the systems, you've been exposed to a lot of systems through the audit experience, and you move into something that's a little more management related. Now, there's a misnomer, I think, in the industry on these two sides. Like a lot of people that work in this area say they work in cybersecurity. A lot of people who work in cybersecurity say, oh, well, a lot of my job's about risk management, but it's from a different perspective. Either way, they're two separate animals. And certifications in that area, if you want to work there, a CISO works in this area as well as like a certified information security manager, because you want some kind of a security certification there. And I'll explain in a minute why the CISSP is the way it is, but and that's an important certification too. But that that you want to say that you've looked at a variety of systems, you know that there are weaknesses in systems, and you found them before as both an IT auditor and the controls that are around a system, and then what the risk management process should be to improve those systems when an auditor finds something or a weakness is found otherwise. So it's good to have an understanding of what the gravity of, for example, a security finding would be in this area. And that's probably one of my complaints about this area and people that recruit in this area is they're looking for certifications that belong over here, in the cybersecurity area for a job that they have over here. And it's not a match at all. And a lot of times they're looking for people to fill jobs over on this side, on the cybersecurity side, but they're asking for certifications that are over here because somebody's posted it on another job description that they're copying or whatever. The reason I put the CISSP like this is there's a couple misnomers about the CISSP. So I've been a CISSP since 2002, I think. It's so long, I don't remember. But anyways, so back in the day when I got certified, I got my my CISA relatively quick because I worked at Ernst & Young and I was exposed and I had the 4-year degree and I got that work experience. I think it was 2 years, and then I sat for the CISA and I passed it. And then a couple of years later, I sat for the CISSP and I actually did my work experience and filled the requirements before I applied for the test. And I passed it. And I've met a lot of CISSPs that I know, and I've seen companies back, mid 2000s, like just basically everybody that started at the company went and sat for the CISSP exam. No question about experience or anything like that. And that the bosses were writing off their experience. That's why I think, everybody says that the CISSP, and I've heard it a lot on the channel, it's like, it's the holy grail. It's the one you want toward the end of your training after you get your degree and all that other stuff. I would kind of argue that if you're going to work in the GRC area, that CISSP probably leans a little more to that risk and compliance area. I've met some really good security. Look, if you get up in the IT audit there's also security audit. You can audit SOCs and that kind of thing. So it gets interesting. and CISSP, I've seen some really good CISSP IT auditors as well. But in cybersecurity, it's just so much of a mainstay and so associated with that as an information security professional, that, it does have a little bit of pullover in cybersecurity. But me, as an experienced hiring manager and looking across the talent landscape, what I've seen a lot come out of are more or less like not even more than less, is the offensive security, OSCP, OSC certifications. And it's not just because that they're harder, it's because that they are hands-on, and the people, the analysts that I've worked with and that I've hired and that even worked side by side with on certain projects have just been better at the command line and better skilled at both penetration testing, but not only penetration testing, but over in this area where people are saying, hey, did IT really fix this? Yes or no? Well, it takes these kind of skills to test that. And that's another complaint about that. It's on this side, there is not enough. I don't think they should be hackers. I don't think GRC professionals should be hackers like these guys, but they should know the ease at which something can actually be exploited. For example, look at my Pawn Kit YouTube from a month and a half ago. That was all of going to GitHub, GCC, and escalating. So if you had an administrator that knew about that, that's how easy it would be, and that's how critical that finding is. People on this side that deal with resolving those issues and chasing those issues need to understand that, and they don't understand that enough, which is why a lot gets through here. Going back to certifications, so enough ranting about career paths and stuff like that. So it is what it is, and this is the way I'm laying it out. ECSA, that's one that I have, and that's that's an analyst. That's a security analyst position, or not a position, but a certification. And it's really good. And it's actually more of an intro thing. For me, it was very much of a refresher on what the current tools are and everything. I took it like 2.5 years ago. Or I think I took it later, but I started the course. It's actually a really good video outlet if you take the actual course from EC Council. CEH, I've met a few CEHs, but CEH isn't really, they kind of compare CEH with OSCP. And I don't think they really compare, because the CEHs that I've met, or the certified ones, aren't really that hands-on. It seems like maybe the testing is less hands-on, or the lab may be easier. I'm not sure. That's just mine, by the way. Don't hold me to it. And I hope EC Council doesn't chase me. But that's just what I've experienced in dealing with people. The EJPT, that's very affordable. I recommend, if you're getting started, get that. Just get it. I might even go and check it out. They say I know a couple of people that are more experienced that actually checked it out. They said it was quite easy, so I might check it out just because it's a basic skills thing. And CompTIA Security Plus, that's another, like, a basic skills thing to understand what's out there. But I think, if you're going to take these two, go ahead and make the investment. Maybe this is my recommendation from my perspective, is to go in with the OSCP. And the reason is by taking these two certifications, you're aware of, okay, there's these tools out there. But when you dive into the OSCP labs and you dive into that study and you do it regularly, the experience on this side turns into more of a craft trade. Because in order to understand the exploits that are out there, you need to understand the tools that are out there and what the level of the tools are, and how they affect the risk side as well, and having that understanding, to have a good balance of both of those understandings, both on the technical side be solid, but also be able to have the conversation on the risk side. And I think that's a lot easier, and that's a lot more doable than to have somebody who's super deep on the risk side but can't have the conversation about what the real risks are with certain exploits. on the cybersecurity side. That's my 2 cents. I hope you enjoyed it. It was good. If you have any comments, questions, please comment down below, or go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. A lot of subscribers, a lot of support. I appreciate it. Not a whole lot of feedback from like the personal security video I did a couple weeks ago. I apologize for the sound on that. I hope the sound on this is better. Oh, I don't have my earphone monitors in today. Okay. Have a good day. Take care. I hope you enjoyed it.